But once again, are you willing to do the things that you don't see in public? Mm-hmm. When we go through our arguments and we're not talking, and when she's sleeping basically on the nightstand.
Come on. Man, listen, brother. Ooh.
When she's hiding my malaria medication when we're in
I did not hide your malaria medication.
I am Codie Elaine Oliver. This is the finale of season 6 of Black Love, After Love, the series finale. I hope you guys liked it.
I think, yeah. Can we clap it up right there?
Congratulations, Queen. Yes.
Trying to get all that. I appreciate y'all, though. I appreciate y'all.
It deserves it.
Yeah.
Super deserves.
You deserve it. Yeah.
Overly deserves.
How does it
Definitely
feel?
deserve your
This is it.
This is it, and it feels fine. It feels great. I'm really proud of the show.
Yes.
I really love the finale montage that we did. I don't know if y'all know, but the song that we created for season 1, called My Word, we had it redone for season 6. So the song that you heard in the montage at the end, our wonderful friend Major.
Major.
Yeah,
He re-recorded it actually with a brilliant producer, Darian Dorsey. I gotta shout out him too.
Okay.
And it just served.
Yeah.
And
It does.
I was really happy. And to bring together everybody's photos, it just was really meaningful to me.
It was beautiful. Beautiful. Can we cheers? Can we cheers?
Yes.
To Black Love.
Yes. Well, job well done.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to say really quick, thank you for, you and Tommy, but thank you guys for starting the thread to show the light or to shine the light on Black love. Because for me, as a young Black woman, the only Black love that I've ever seen is in my older parents or my older grandparents. It was never in younger people like myself, like Ray, like Cynthia and Mike. So thank you guys for opening that box to show younger people, young people love too, just like your grandparents did. So
She considers us young, baby. That's right.
I
love her. Yes.
That was strategic, brother. She gonna chop you down later.
But I want to say to you guys, so I chose this title, right? Relationship Goals, for the finale, ironically. I very intentionally was like, we have been looking at other people, whether it's grandparents and parents or whether it's Instagram, and being like, oh, relationship goals. I want to be like that. Without knowing people's stories, without knowing like that. I loved Jeanette and Robert, having that long distance marriage and like that almost breaking them. But people look at them on Instagram as like the end all be all, which I still believe they are, but that's the point to me.
What was it that almost broke them?
They had a long distance marriage for 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
They were,
And, you see them on the gram and you're like, oh, they're so cute and they're hilarious and they just seem so happy. And then you find out that like marriage is a challenge.
Man, listen.
I feel like you guys have all been very honest about that. And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, my first question is like, what was it like seeing yourselves? Sharing this part of your journey.
I just remember one part where she said, they say happy life, happy wife. I remember she said, happy husband too.
Come on, right.
Happy husband too. Sometimes I just want to put that on the loop sometimes.
I got you. I'll send you the clip. Just run it on your TV.
What you said was.
It's important. I think it's important for everybody to be happy, right? It's a partnership, right?
Yeah.
It's the CEO, COO, whoever the CEO is. Their responsibility is just as important as the COO. So if he's happy and she's happy, that's what makes it a bond. I always consider it like 2 whole people, right? So you got one cake that's round, perfectly rounded. You got another one that's perfectly round, and everything else is like the icing on top of it that you build on top of it. So that's what we want. We want happiness for everybody.
Well, I think that the reason why I always say, I love the whole idea of happy life, happy wife, or happy wife, happy life, or whatever it is.
Right.
Either way, the husband has to be a part of that because it's just not realistic. If I'm happy and my man's not happy, then, that bleeds over into our collective happiness. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make sure I corrected that for you. To my husband's point, everyone does have to be happy.
We take sayings that we've heard or whatever and we run with them. And they might mean different things to different people. I always interpreted it as, and this is maybe old school, but like happy wife, happy life. Because a woman's nature, if she's happy, she always gonna make sure you good.
No, that's true.
But
that's
I think the correction, but then people have run with that and kind of been like, oh, just keep me happy and you'll be fine.
Forget you,
It'll spray over, you know? But I think your clarity on that, like, it's just helpful. to
is.
think about it. People say these things, they don't think about it.
Right, and it should be happy spouse, happy house.
Yo,
Come on.
Come on,
That on a t-shirt?
That's
And
what I'm
where's
talking about.
that?
Cheers to that.
All right,
Happy
Roz.
spouse, happy house.
But the way she said it,
House happy. House happy.
Damn.
throwing
Yeah.
out quotes.
It's a collective. It's a collective.
It is a collective.
But how
Absolutely.
important is it for one spouse to keep the other person happy? I mean, keep them happy, but shouldn't you bring a certain amount of happiness already to the forefront?
You should already have your own setup. Like Ray has his happiness, I have my happiness, but he can add abundantly to my happiness. You know what I'm saying? But I shouldn't depend on Ray to make me happy, because
Amen.
what if Ray don't feel good one day and I need him to make me happy?
like, hey,
that means we both
need to be
jacked
happy
up.
today.
You're not happy,
Right.
so you're not
Messing
happy,
me up.
so I can't be happy. No, I find my joy in waking up that God touched me and said, hey, it's another day. Let's go.
Amen. Amen.
That's it. And the
Jesus.
fact that I can wake up with somebody that I'm in love with and I can laugh with and do things with, yeah, that makes it even more happy for me. But no, I don't need Ray to make me happy.
I love it.
Roslyn
Well, ladies
got
and
it.
gentlemen, that's it for we
Cheers,
gonna wrap it up.
cheers, that's what we gonna do.
I'm dropping these.
Okay. Okay, so wait, that said, right, what does it look like? Because we all, I think, came into marriage at different points.
Yes.
So y'all got married at 20-something and 30-something?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Six
high
years.
five.
Yeah. It's my cougar right here.
You had an older woman too?
No, this is my older one.
I
know.
That's what I'm saying. You have an older woman. So I'm like, okay.
He only got one.
Well, you better-
That's all I need, too.
Season.
Tommy and I got married like 31 or something like that, and then you, well, actually, both of you have been married.
Yes.
So what does finding your own happiness look like?
Okay.
When did you learn that you needed to do it that way? Like, you know, but what does finding your individual happiness look like and bringing it to the relationship?
Ooh, that's a great question.
For me, it was my therapy. You know, I talked about it in the book a lot about a lot of the traumas that I went through in my life and thinking I was being a man. I was never taught how to be a man because I never had a real good male role model in my life. And so when I went to therapy, and it was because of a lot of things I had done, messing up in relationships and almost losing my family, losing my daughters, the reason why I went to therapy in the first place. But when I found that I went to therapy and I found out what was making me inadequate, what I was missing in my life, and figuring out that I didn't need certain things to make me feel whole, and I found things to supplement those things to become whole, then that is when I started walking into my manhood. And that's when I started saying, this is my peace and this is my happiness. And once again, having this beautiful lady in my life just adds to that. So she brings a lot to the table. She actually brings the table. I bring the
Come
table.
on, brother. Come on, brother.
I bring
And
the
it's a good
tablecloth.
wooden one, ain't it?
Yeah, it's a good one. It's
sturdy.
It ain't IKEA. This ain't IKEA.
You ain't got to put it together yourself.
That is Ethan Allen right here. This is some
Comes
some
assembled.
legacy table. Yep. So I just bring in the chairs and slide it under the table, and we just enjoy it. And like when we put the tablecloth on top and have our meals together. But that's part of our happiness, is knowing, like I said, my therapy is making me whole and feeling that I am a man. I can walk into my manhood and not have to worry about something that makes me inadequate.
Yeah. Wow.
For me, I think, I've been married before. I think it was really important for me this time around not to lose my identity in the marriage. Because I think, we're all grown, okay?
Yeah.
We are.
Some
Yes,
are
we
older,
are.
some are growner than others.
Come on.
Yes, we are.
Grown and
All
growner.
side of the table. But
Season,
I
baby,
think
season.
There you go. Experience.
Season.
Right.
Yeah, season.
I think that, it's important to know who you are marrying. It's important to know who you are asking to marry you. And be prepared to be married to that person. Because, because after you get married, it's like, I'm still the same person.
Right.
That you saw on TV, that you were attracted to, on and off the camera. So now that we're in the house together, like, I'm still me, and I can't lose me because I'm married.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, I do.
So I think a lot of times, and I watched this happen with my mom. A lot of times women seem to lose themselves in the relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that is a problem for not only the woman, but it's also a problem just for the relationship and the man, because he's signing on for what he thought, okay, well, you seem like you got it together.
Right.
This is this and this and that is that. So when you get into the marriage, you have to be who you are. You always have to continue to show up as yourself. And you can always be a better self.
Right.
100%, we can all be better. But at the same time, after a certain age, you are who you are.
Yeah.
And, it's either it works or it doesn't work. Either we can be happy together, we can be best friends together, or we can't. And I think the scariest thing for me going into my second marriage was, after my first one was, I'm not going to make the same mistakes in my first marriage. I'm not going to stay in a situation if it's not working longer than it mentally, physically, and emotionally serves me to do it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because otherwise, what did I learn in the first marriage?
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? It's like you gotta
What were my takeaways?
It's like, all right, okay, so
yeah.
this is what we're not doing. And I think you just become older and wiser, with just knowing what it is and what the energy feels like and what love feels like and what attention feels like. And at the end of the day, I know marriage is not easy, but I don't think it has to be hard if you're with the right person.
Right.
So how do you do that, right? How do you preserve yourself, especially when you've been through an experience where you didn't or may not have, right? How do you preserve yourself but not overcompensate, right?
Ooh, you're asking some good questions.
Ain't she?
Can I answer that?
How do you preserve yourself but not overcompensate?
So I would like just to say that since Ray and I have been married, I've had 3 brain surgeries. And with being married, as well as accepting the person and acknowledging who they are, you have to also accept that they're going to change. They're not going to stay the same. They're going to grow. And thankfully, Ray has accepted that through 3 brain surgeries. She's a little crazier, but she's still alive. So, hey, I'll take that.
Yes.
So that's another part of happiness, because when you come in with your own happy, you know that you're going to change, and your change is going to make you better. But you also have to be with somebody that's going to be like, okay, yeah, you're changing, but this is actually good for the
Be
both
willing
of us.
to adjust.
And be willing to adjust. You know what I'm saying? And they also will take a step back and say, yeah, the change may be terrible now, but at the later point, 6 months now, a year from now, this is going to be really good.
Well, the terrible being the newness and
Right.
and the
And
I
the
want to
unknown.
clarify.
It's
because
the unknown.
I know at no point was Ray like,
It's the unknown.
Ross is terrible.
It's the unknown of the change, just like going through all of this that we've gone through. Ray has had no idea. When we first met, it was 1 brain surgery I'd already had. And I was like, yeah, I'm done, I'm good. Then there's 3 again, and thankfully I had my own happy, because going through that, you have to be happy. You have to be.
You do.
I couldn't have depended on Ray for my happiness during those 3 brain surgeries.
Absolutely.
He helped me and supported me and aided, but I had to find that happy in this girl to pull it out, to be like, okay, yeah, I can get through this, I'm good.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's a really good metaphor, I think, too, because we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, or last week, with a couple who mentioned to you, like, oh, you guys' story is harder than ours, right? So I admire you, I love, and you were saying no, like, hey, I'm here to be a light and, help others. Yeah. But I think that your story, your experience, how you just described it, is a metaphor for we all go through hard things, we all go through transformative things. Yes, there's levels to it, and so perspective is important.
Exactly.
But we do in our relationships where we grow and evolve, and our partner's looking at us like, whether it's how she gonna be when she wakes up from this brain surgery, or how she gonna be when she, recognizes that, or as she's realizing her power and her worth, and she wants to make sure to preserve that herself. And is it gonna make me feel small, right? Like whatever those changes are, that's an important metaphor.
Yeah.
And I have to keep it real. I keep things transparent and whatnot about everything that goes on in our lives. We're public figures, so when you talk about being couples goals, I want people to know the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, like, since Cynthia and I started living together, because we had this long distance relationship for a long period of time.
Are you officially in the same city now?
And we're officially in the same
Yes.
city.
Because the last time I talked to you, that was not the case.
No, it
I'm
wasn't.
very happy.
And that was in the same house.
Yes.
And now I need a bigger house. Because the space, when I first bought the house, it was for me.
Yes.
And now I want to expand because, both of us have certain energies, and we both kind of emit that energy in different ways. Yeah. So there could be clashes, and so sometimes you need to go in your corner, I need to go in my corner. Yeah. In this case, we need to go into a different wing of the house. You know what I mean? We need a mansion. You go over there. I'll hit the intercom when I need you.
I'll text you. I'll text you. How you doing,
but it's important to understand that, you know what, you're gonna go through some things, and like I said on the show, I believe it's like, you know, what's great about us is you're gonna fight. But you have to find somebody that you're willing to fight for.
Come on.
When you're in this relationship, you know, and I love this woman and I'm in love with her, you know, and I had to find out what being in love was all about after going through all the difficulties in my life. So even though we go through our difficult times, she's willing to fight for. And, you know, I'm gonna fight until the end. And if God has the final say on what happens with us. So this is my love of my life. This is the woman that I'm going to fight for, and I pray that she's doing the same thing for me when it comes to any kind of difficulties we have in our relationships.
That relationship goals terms gets tricky depending on what your perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because of course we can look good in pictures and look good on TV and all that, but before that camera was taken, we was probably cussing each other out. You know what I'm saying?
As Ross likes to say, a lot of MFers are being
A lot of MFers.
It's important to understand that so much work goes into this, even in our youth of marriage. Like we're still trying to figure this thing out.
That's right.
Mending two completely different lives together. Like it's impossible for us to be happy all the time. It's impossible for us to agree on everything. But if we can sit down and say, hey, it's not us having a problem, but it's us against the problem.
Right.
Let's figure this thing out together. Come up off this couch. I'll make you a grilled cheese and let's chill out.
I love that. I love that you just shared that, because I think I shared this with you. When we did our actual interview, we had the biggest fight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was like, we are not.
Like, this gonna be black love?
Man, this one's gonna get fun.
Like seriously, I was like, are we really having a full-on argument before these people get here and we're supposed to be talking about black
Now,
love?
this is gonna be like Mike Tyson and Robin Givens, that interview back in the day. Like Mike just sitting there holding him.
Listen.
That's real.
What's she gonna say?
That's
When I
real
tell
life.
you we had to pray, when that doorbell rang, I was looking at him like, okay, what is getting ready to happen?
Listen, can I just say how many times, this is, Tommy would not mind me sharing.
Okay.
250 interviews. Do you know how many times that's happened? Us going in or out? Matter of fact, that same day we left y'all house. I don't remember what we fought of. Oh.
y'all was.
Do you remember how long he was on the phone?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what we fought about. And we went to our friends, Melanie and Jared. We went to their house. And that doorbell moment, child.
Yep.
Anyway, my point is, sorry, Tommy. My point is,
that's what it's all about.
250 interviews. We have had some fights.
But go ahead.
No, you.
But see, you know, and that's what's important, because a lot of people see, especially public figures, they see the good side of things. And that's what Instagram is all about, right? On Instagram. That's why I tell Cynthia, I'm like, I can't just put up the good when I'm on Instagram. I got to tell people when I'm feeling bad, because if I'm going to be a role model, or I'm going to be somebody that people look up to, you got to see both sides, because you got to feel like you're not alone.
Yeah.
And when people say couples goals, and they see us smiling for the gram and everything like that, and they say, I want to be just like you and Cynthia. I'm like, do you want to go through the things? Are you willing to go through the things that we go through in order for your relationship to work? Because that's what we're committed to. So just because you see us smiling and she's in, you know, everything, because my baby stays booked and busy. Come on, Jesus. Yes. You need that to say booked and busy.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And I'm proud of all that. But once again, are you willing to do the things that you don't see in public? When we go through our arguments and we're not talking, and when she's sleeping basically on the nightstand because she don't want to stay.
Man, listen, brother.
When she's hiding my malaria medication when we're in Ghana.
Your malaria medication.
Baby, you hide.
No. No, we're going to clear this up right now.
We weren't supposed to go there.
We are going to clear this up.
She gonna kill me in Africa.
We are going to clear this up. No. We're going to clear this up right now.
Don't put that on her name.
We took a trip to Ghana. Beautiful trip. Everything was great. Okay, spiritual. We were like, it was our first, like, a trip abroad together.
Set it up.
So everything was right. Okay?
Married or not married?
We weren't married at the
No,
time.
we weren't married.
Okay, all right.
Okay? And I don't remember what the argument
We
was
never
about.
do. Because it's so
We were arguing
stupid.
about something. Okay? And all I remember is it didn't end right. I think he may have like left and went downstairs or whatever, and I was in the room and like, I'm like, wife, I'm usually like, okay, here's our medications for the trip.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep them right over here so we can both see them. You get yours, I get mine. So once I got upset with him because he was like, I don't know what it was, but anyway, at that point I felt like it was no longer my responsibility
to keep up with his
So he lost his medication.
Let me get my
Oh, that's
malaria
cold-blooded.
pills.
Oh, that's cold-blooded.
And hopefully my brother will remember to take his.
That's cold.
But I'm praying for him that he will take his pill. But at this point, if we're not speaking, how am I supposed to tell you to take your
not
pill?
talking to me, how can
If
I
you're not
tell you?
talking
And she wasn't even on the insurance policy yet.
Right. It was
So
no benefit.
it was no benefit to her except just hate. I'm just saying.
He said except just hate.
If we're not speaking, you give me the
You
cold
on your
shoulder.
own. That's
You better remember to take your own
Yeah,
pill.
the truth.
But we got through
Cheers,
it.
guys.
I'm still alive.
The truth. Tell the truth, y'all.
Tell the
This shit is hard.
Those are the goals. Tell the truth.
I left it on the counter. I just moved it on the
Oh
other
my
side.
goodness.
So fellas, if you got some health issues,
Yeah.
man, make sure you're good
Take
to your
care of
wife.
your
Make sure you know where your own vitamins,
Find
medication.
your own happiness and medicine.
Exactly. Reminders. Put it on your iPhone.
No, I will say, when I get upset, I'm the type of person, and I'm not saying it's right, I'm just telling you what it is. I just isolate. I just need a moment. I don't want to talk about it at that time if I feel like it's going to escalate in an argument. I just need a minute, and I just need some space. And I don't know what that is, but I just need you to pretty much leave me alone. Just leave me alone for a second. Can you just leave me alone for a second? And I feel like when we don't do that, come on, friend. I feel like, Mike's the type when we argue, you walk away too, but you walk away.
I walk away
Are you
first.
making faces?
No,
Man, this Uncle Nearest was.
Ain't it?
Uncle Nearest getting.
Here we go.
Uncle Nearest.
Cynthia.
Ooh, this some good whiskey right here.
delicious.
Come on, black on.
Anyway, what I was getting ready to say
Hey,
was,
you walk away. I walk
when
away
we're
first.
gonna go back to the argument.
That's what you always do. You walk away. Why you walking away? Come back.
No, because it's like, let's talk about it. And then when we talk about it, when we start to talk about it, when it gets a little escalated,
Passionate discussion.
passionate,
Passionate
then he's
discussion.
like, you know what, whatever, forget it. And he walks away, and I'm like, now why do you get to say whatever, forget it when it's my time to talk? Now I sat here and listened for an hour of you saying what you need to say, and then when I get ready to chime in and be like, well, I think this, you know what, do you always do this? Okay, forget it and leave. No, you need to come back and hear what I have to say, and then you can leave. I mean,
Sounds fair.
So when you walk away,
Yes, ma'am.
you speak, I speak. Like when he's talking, I sit there, I'm
And
like,
listen.
Uh-oh.
Get it out.
Uh-oh. How much time we got?
He doesn't-
How much time we got?
let us know, Mike. Let us know.
Can we do a DNA test to make sure this is my wife right now? I'm like, what, for real? What? Y'all got this on cam. Y'all hear this? Please don't.
This is on the record.
I'm I let you speak, and then I sit there and listen.
I do.
Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna walk away from this conversation right now.
We still got some more time, brother.
I'm just gonna take my side with my friend
No.
and say that
Thank you, friend.
I also walk away and I don't say anything, and I don't say anything because I process.
thank you.
Because I know
Process.
how I am, and I know
Same.
that if the wrong thing is said in the wrong tone, I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
So the best thing for me to do in that moment, in the midst of that passionate discussion, is to shut my mouth and turn around and walk away. Because if I don't, these hands gonna get the Muhammad Ali in.
First of all,
She's not.
I have
She
never
talk-
no.
yeah, no.
No. I don't believe in domestic, and I have never put my hands on Ray. But I know, again, I know how I am. So in order for me not to get to that teapot, I just politely, all right, okay, and I
Right.
turn around and walk off.
And sometimes the words are way worse than any physical thing you could ever do to
Because
a
you don't
person.
forget, yeah.
And Mike is very big on saying what he needs to say and then apologizing after, which I commend him for. However,
I'm the first to apologize.
However, if you go there, it's like nice you apologize at the end of it, but the words are still there.
Yeah.
It doesn't change.
you can't bring it
The
back.
words are still
Like,
there.
okay, well, that means I have a free license to just go in on you and say whatever I want to say, and they'd be like,
because I apologize. I'm sorry.
Codie, that's growth. That's growth.
Yes, that's
growth. Growing.
It's
I know
a step.
who I used to be. That's why I like to walk away, because I feel like, see, what I've been able to do through therapy, once again.
Come on.
I've been able to put away a person that I used to be. I've been able to put this person in a box, steel box, put it in Fort Knox with a 9-digit code.
Did you say put the person away?
Yeah.
Put that person away.
That person's gone?
No, I've been able to put them away.
That person
box.
doesn't exist in the house
no,
anymore?
No, I'm still saying it's there.
Yeah.
In the
on
box.
house arrest.
In a steel box, 9-digit code with uppercase, lowercase, numbers, symbols, and
Special
everything.
characters, all that.
And a DNA
This
sample.
lady right here.
Oh, she
and my
know
mama.
Yes.
Let him out.
Okay.
And she'll get to the seventh digit. I'm like, I want to walk away. No, you come back here now. You gotta fish him. And I'll sit there for a minute. She'll say, doop, doop. Pop goes the weasel.
Hey, what you want me to do?
Guys, I have an important question.
Sorry.
Because I get it, right? And
It's
we
late.
all,
We're still together.
late.
Yeah. Yo, sorry.
we all have been there, right? And some more frequently than others.
Yes.
My question is, after that happens, because the walk away in a lot of cases is necessary, so that you
It
don't
is.
do the thing that you know you don't
Yeah.
want
Right,
to
or
do.
say the things that you know,
The
can't
coming
take
back is sometimes, to me, the challenge, because I either, like, sometimes I feel like if I'm the one who walks away, then I'm gonna have to be the person to come back, right? But I really want him to just like fix it. So like, what happens once you walk away and you've thought and you've processed, because that's the reason you walked away.
Right.
Then what do you do, or what does he do? Like, what happens next to get to okay?
So let me say this: Ray is not gonna ever come back. Okay.
Whoa!
Ray, you gone. Ray.
We are being transparent. Just be transparent.
Keep it real.
We talk about relationship goals. Let's talk about it.
That's what I'm like.
Because Ray thinks anything outside of is confrontation, okay?
Okay, where's Tommy?
Anything outside of rainbows is confrontation. So
Yes.
when Ray comes back, he's always has the, okay, I don't want to fight, so I don't know how I need to approach this girl. So what happens is I'll come up like, so you want to talk or what? That's literally what.
So what does Ray say? What does Ray
Ray,
say?
how do you react, Ray?
You want some chicken? You want some coffee?
I am.
Yeah, if we could talk in the
I
calm
stray
manner.
as far away from conflict as humanly possible.
Yeah.
It's
What's your sign, Ray?
Taurus.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just no like if we can sit the energy we spend on this conflict and all that, we can spend the same energy on getting.
But it's not conflict a lot of times. That's my point.
Working
because
for
you are. This is the thing, and I know this because I have anxiety. So what I'll do, a lot of times with my anxiety, is I'll pregame it. I'll pregame my anxiety. I'm already setting myself up to be anxious about something. No, just go ahead and let it happen, and then if the anxiety comes, deal with it in that moment. Don't it is what that's what you have to do, and that's what I feel like he may do. He's pregaming like, oh, there's gonna be an argument. I don't want to do it. No, just talk to me and be like, all right, I don't like you, and I don't like what you did. No problem. That I'm
That's
okay with
like
that, and it's easier said than done. I know
Yeah,
that.
it's tight.
But how many times have you told me, look, I don't like what, and I know that.
You think I'm going to say, hey, I don't like you?
What, you think I'm gonna go to jail and miss my daddy? No. Say what you need to say. You know I'm not gonna do nothing to get away from George.
But
What do you feel is the worst that would happen if you just let it out?
I'm gonna spaz out and act crazy. He already know. He know I ain't gonna put hands on him though.
He's not gonna
if
leave.
only exactly, I'm not gonna leave. If the only thing you worried about is getting cussed out, I done cussed you out before.
I believe you getting ready to say something.
No,
very
I was asking.
How do you receive that though? How do you receive that when you go and you try and have a conversation with her and she's still in that mood? How do you receive that?
I've been trying now to not take it personal. Like what I struggled in the beginning was taking everything personal. Like everything she says to me is a direct shot at me, and I'm not doing this, and like so. So what I've done now is try to not take it personal and really listen. Like what is she?
Say it again. Really what?
I try to really listen.
Oh my God.
Like listen to what she's saying.
Oh my
how
God.
is she hearing what I'm saying? And how am I hearing what she's saying?
And that also was something that I had to do, is learn how to communicate my feelings to him.
Yeah.
And what I've learned to do to him, and not do to him, but to say to him in a communication form, is I feel.
Yeah.
Because you can't challenge what I feel
Yeah.
because you
Amen.
don't know.
Exactly.
So when I say I feel, he's more, and he has become way more
Right.
receptive. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah. So you can't be like, no, this is what I feel.
So, as a play therapist who's interviewed over 250 couples,
Play therapist.
I would agree that what you just said, listening to the other person, like listening to understand, is probably the most important thing that we can do.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Oh, it's just very different.
Can I ask a question when it comes to that? How hard is it when the tone isn't right?
Oh, it's
Like-
damn near
Impossible. It is, of course.
Damn near.
Words could be there, but if it comes the wrong way
Yeah.
and you don't receive it, I think it's almost like a
True.
love language. Like just
Yeah.
because you speak a certain way and you receive a thing a certain way and you don't mind it, he may not receive it
Correct.
the same
And
way.
I talk hard, and Ray doesn't receive
So you
hard
have to,
talk.
so just
Right.
like the love languages, just because you have certain things, you may like gifts or whatever, he might not like gifts.
right.
But
Right.
you got to find out how it's best for him to receive
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
message. And you know,
It's so funny that you said that, because in therapy, there was a time I was having a hard time of trying to communicate my feelings to him. So I'm speaking to my therapist, and she said, well, Ray loves music. So what you do is compile a song list of your feelings and play it for him of how you feel. And so that's what I started to do. I gather songs about how I feel, and I play the playlist. And I'm like, and
How many songs? Because you know,
Wait a minute, listen to this one too.
no, it's like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Like 4 or 5.
yeah.
But they all, are really encompassing how I feel at that moment about what's going on with us. And I'm like, hey, I want to play something for you. And he listens. He's like, okay, I
I love that.
understand.
That's beautiful.
you have a good therapist.
Shout out to Candace Councils.
Yes.
Shout out to Candace Miles.
Cheers to the therapists of the world
Yes.
for keeping us here.
Well, I have
long
to
as
say,
she ain't playing to the left, bro. You good?
Right.
When that show up on the playlist,
If she played to the left, I'm like,
what I did now?
Absolutely not.
all right, I definitely have an issue with tone when I get upset, for sure. I get, I start to extra enunciate my words, extra articulate
Yeah.
everything. Everything is very like that. So one of the things that I've been working on is my tone when I want to try to communicate something to Mike. And I get it. Like, for me, tone doesn't bother me. Say what you want to say.
right.
Let's get to it. For me, I'm all about what's the point?
Yeah.
The point is you're
Yeah.
not happy about A, B, and C. Okay, well, however you said it, I
Right.
received the point. But if I got to say it in a certain tone to you for you to receive that same message, then that's what it is. My frustration is when I do, because now I'm very conscious of it, because it's something that he points out all the time. Oh, your tone, tone, tone. So I'm
Come
very,
on, Jesus.
very tone conscious up in this piece, okay? Call me
We know
Cynthia.
some tones.
Tone, baby.
yeah,
Okay? I know my tone.
CTV is
Okay, come on. Okay? If I don't know nothing else after a year and a half, I know that my tone is not always right when I get angry. All right? So once I learned that and I became conscious of that, when we would have more arguments or discussions or conversations, I was like, in my mind the whole time, watch your tone, girl, watch your tone, because he gonna get you with the tone card. no matter if you're right
The
or
tone
wrong,
card
no
comes.
matter what your
Tone
point
card is
is,
coming.
if your tone ain't right,
Yeah.
He's
you're
not
gonna
gonna
lose
receive it.
whatever you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So my frustration is trying to figure out, okay, so now I'm conscious of my tone. Now I'm almost whispering. So I was thinking this, I feel this way, blah, blah, blah. Tone good, because I done tone check myself 30 times, okay?
Tone
Check
check.
the tone at the
Tone
door.
check.
Then if the conversation if I'm still not able to get to any kind of resolution, when I feel like I have checked my tone, I have expressed how I feel, and it still isn't received with any real resolution or consideration, then it's like, okay, so now my tone was right.
Checked all the boxes.
I think I delivered it right. So what is the issue now in terms of not being able to have effective communication?
I would like to just say, I think that because of the tone, Ray and I have the tone issue as well.
Same.
And it's really Ray to me. Ray is he's a very loving, but he gonna talk to you, okay?
She says
Same.
I speak condescendingly to her.
Yeah.
It's because he has a master's. He has a master's.
You hear it right now, right?
Is that what he
You hear
says
it
every
right now?
time? I have a master's.
I have a master's
Yeah,
in
so-
counseling.
I go back and forth between the tone and the condescending part.
Yep.
And so what I have learned with Ray and even with myself is I feel like a lot of times he's expecting me to react in a certain way.
Okay.
I feel like Mike may be expecting your tone because the conversation is passionate. So he's like, oh, here she go. Throw a pie in his face. Be completely calm. But that's on you managing your emotions.
Right.
So that's really you checking yourself.
Right.
If you feel like the conversation is getting there, go ahead and check yourself
And
out.
I've done
Cynthia.
that.
Go, don't do it.
I've done that, and I know what you mean when you say that, and it's interesting because when I have done that, it's kind of been like, oh, well, wait, what's going on here?
Right. Because it throws him off. Exactly.
So wait,
Why
So now I
is she
gotta
not
actually-
popping off?
I don't,
Exactly.
Respond and it just just be honest. Look, at the end of the day, for me, it's like, look, this is about what is the truth?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What do we want to
What do
accomplish
we
with
do?
this?
What are we doing?
What do we do?
Right.
Yes.
And why are we doing it?
And right, come on.
And why?
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, what are we doing? And if we are together, if we are one, if we have decided to be partners, if we love each other, if we're going to be best friends,
Yeah.
like nothing is impossible. Like, forget tone. Look, I rock with you.
Yeah, right.
what it
Yeah.
Okay? It's like I see so many couples that are like, oh, they've been together for like hundreds and hundreds of years, whatever. And it's like, oh, well, that's just my wife. That's how.
Right,
It's like they
right.
don't care. They're
Right.
like, that's how she is.
Right.
This is what it is.
Right.
We've been together.
Yes.
We got all these kids. I love this woman.
Right.
I know my lane. I know my purpose. I know what I bring to the table, and she knows hers.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, are we gonna be together now?
Right.
What are we doing? Are we having fun, or are we just not having
What are we doing?
So I think a lot of times what happens with me, excuse me to cut you
good.
off, is it is, how do I describe it, as pre-existing trauma. Like things that have happened in the past.
Yes.
So when they circle the
Very
block
important.
back and I hear a tone that sounds familiar from the past, I'm
Trigger.
like, wait, that sounds familiar. And I know, again, Ray is not the person that's gonna ever call me out my name, raise his hand to me, you know what I'm saying, do anything crazy. But when you present those things that are familiar to me, it's going to make me react in a way that's like, wait a minute. So that's why I'm saying, when I feel that coming, I'm like, nope, Roslyn, go ahead and
Don't
check
go-
it.
don't go
Don't
for
do
the
it. Don't react
banana
to it.
tail
Yeah,
bite.
don't do it.
Right.
And again, our husbands know how to poke our buttons. They know what triggers us. He knows what triggers me, no question.
And vice versa. Just like Mike was saying, like I know what triggers him.
Yep.
He knows what triggers me.
Right.
Like I'm not the only one that knows the
Yep.
okay.
Right. He got
knows
the
it.
code too. He got
When I tell you, got the same
access
code.
to the button too.
He got the remote. He just waiting to use it.
Fingerprint and everything, okay?
So
He know the
Her
button.
password is much easier. Just saying, yeah. It's her last name. That's it, pretty much.
That's a thumbprint.
So it just really works both ways, and I love that we're having this conversation because I think sometimes, especially the second time around, for me, you want to get it right. Like I
Yeah.
really don't have the energy or the desire really to even think anything outside of my marriage with Mike. Like this is the person that I signed on with. And I'm really, really more invested even than I was in my first marriage, because the first marriage is like, you go in with the great intentions, but it's the first one. You don't have a manual. You don't know
You're just
what you're
in there.
doing. This
You're
is
just in there.
normal. And that's why I appreciate you guys showing so many different examples of Black love.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you
Yes.
feel like, well, am I crazy?
Right.
Like, I know.
Is this
is
just
a good,
us?
This is a good man. This is a good man. I know this man has great intentions. I know he has a good heart. Why I can't stand him right now? Why do I want to touch this man right now?
Wait, that what you're saying right now is normal.
Yes.
It's a thing.
It
It
is
happens.
normal.
It goes both ways.
Yes.
And,
So it is
and for
normal.
so
Yes.
long, we've all been looking at marriage and relationships as like, you don't feel that ever. And then you feel bad when you do feel it because there's nobody talking about it.
Come on.
So that's why, like, I mean, it's weird that this is like the series finale, but that's why, like, this has been so important to me because, like, feeling seen, feeling like you're not alone in this thing that you commit to for your whole life is the only way to make it work. Because if you feel like you're alone, then you're either going to stay in it because you're like, well, everybody else seems to be making it work or whatever, or you're going to think something's wrong with you.
But that's why I was saying that's important to be transparent and put it out there, and that's why I
And that's the
parrot
real
what you said.
relationship goal.
Black love to see 250 couples, different couples going through their different relationships, so people can actually see, oh, I'm just like them. They made it, man. They've been going on 14 years. Here's how they did it. So you're not only telling us the problems, but you're also giving us the solutions. Anything successful is going to go through some turmoil. It's going to take a lot of work. The best Fortune 500 companies out there, Apple has gone through turmoil, but it's still standing because they got the right people with the right attitude, putting in the right amount of work to make it work. And that's what you have to do in relationships. And that's where my mindset is to make it work. I made a commitment. You know, this is number 3. But you know what? They say the third time's a charm, right? And
that's a good charm, too.
It's more than a charm. It's my life. This is my love. And I'm in love with this lady, and I want to make it work. So when we go through these fights, I tell her, I want this to work. You know, and I have to remind her that I want this to work. I'm willing to fight for it. Now, at the end of the day, our happiness is the most important thing, but we're gonna fight for this until God tells us, hey, you know what? It's time for you to go your separate ways. And hopefully that's not until death does us part.
You know what? I was thinking about something last night. I have to take accountability for something that really just hit me last night. I was just, in my mind, I was actually driving. And I was like, wow, you know, this next chapter has been like amazing, amazing. Like what I realized, what has happened to me in the past year, you know, I'm a 55-year-old woman.
I'm sorry, what?
55.
Girl, you look good, girl.
What
Looks
you
good
want
and
to
smells
say,
good.
Baby girl is lying on these good people's good TV. What you want to today?
I'm a 55-year-old woman in full premenopause. Okay.
That's a different show. We're going to go there.
That's another thing.
That's another show. That has
I'm
affected
here for
a
it.
lot of my mood,
Right,
my
emotions.
emotions, my everything. Like I'm like a crazy person half the time. But my body is doing what it's doing.
Crazy stuff.
So I'm in premenopause. I have moved from my home, which is Lake Bailey in Atlanta, which I bought that home for my peace. That was the one thing that the first time I ever did anything for myself.
Wow.
So to officially pack up and leave the one place where I felt comfortable and safe, okay? Now I'm in a new marriage, premenopause, I left my house, I'm in a new city. I've never lived in LA. Starting a career over. I walked away from my job. That's like, I was like, wait a minute.
Who am I?
No wonder I can't get along with nobody right now. Too much going on. Right. I was like, I mean, you know how big of an adjustment it is to leave your home. And,
Can't imagine.
And you can say whatever you want to say. When two whole people get together and they have their house, I have my house, he has his house. You can say, oh, well, you know, this is your house now, whatever. At the end of the day, when you get mad, on mad day,
it's
my house.
It's ours.
Yeah, my house is my house. That's your house in LA, and Lake Bailey is my house, okay? On mad day, it's always gonna come right back there, okay? Let's just keep it all the way real.
Absolutely.
Okay? So with that said, you know, again, with someone who wants to, you know, be in a marriage, be with someone who I feel like is my best friend, I still, the second time around, is like, well, if it doesn't work out, I still have my house I can go to. I can start it all over. I'm thinking about all these things. So once I abandoned all of this stuff, and now I'm here, and we've been in a long distance relationship for most of our relationship. Now I'm in the house, so now I'm like, is it okay if I move this over here a little bit? Because I still feel like, especially if you don't make me feel like, hey, you know what? I know there was a big move for you. You have abandoned your house, and now you went from a whole house to pretty much half of a closet, sharing this room with me. We got other closets, but we got other stuff delegated for those spaces. You got 35 wigs alone that normally has his own closet for work. You have a work area for work.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, you don't have any of those things anymore. Now you got to work it out over here in this glass.
Right.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is what you're getting now.
I mean, that's real life, though.
So,
yeah.
and I'm like, and of course my age is advantage. Nobody's going, oh, you're readjusting to a smaller space now or a space you didn't have before.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when they call it like, we need you on TV tomorrow at this
They don't
time,
care
I'm like,
nothing about that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. And again, look,
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I don't think I have thought about my transformation, my transition rather, into my life with my husband. And it has been very stressful, and it looks all cute on Instagram, like, yay, moving, yeah, I'm
Right.
spending most of my time in LA now, whatever. But basically, I'm starting over.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm starting over. And
Yeah.
again, as a woman of a certain age, I'm starting over in an industry that's not like, hey, can all the old people come over here and work now?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
they ain't really. Yeah, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
statement.
insecurity for someone who, I don't really consider myself insecure, but I'm like, okay, well, I hope this work out. I hope LA work out. I hope my marriage work out. I hope this house work out. I hope you know what I mean? There's a lot of,
Yeah.
That's real.
I don't have control
Yeah.
of my life anymore. And I've always had control of everything. I had my own stuff. This is mine, da-da-da-da-da. This is what we're doing, whatever.
ain't never had
and now
control.
I'm like literally walking.
Yeah,
I feel
right.
like I'm walking into
The
a
unknown.
new space going, is it okay if I do a accent wall over here? But I don't have to, we don't want to, because I know this is really your house. And I know you don't really want to do that. Like you don't,
have so many
I've
thoughts.
never
Codie.
felt.
We want to hear all the
Go ahead,
things.
go ahead, Codie.
So
All the
my
things.
mind is racing. I have so many thoughts. Okay, first thought is I really want to introduce you guys to Adrian Norris and Rodney. I don't know if you guys have met them in person, Gammy. Okay. But your story is very similar.
Oh, wow.
Because he lives in Maryland and she lives here, and there's just
wow.
like, there's a whole lot. And she's on her fourth marriage, very happy. We need to make that introduction happen.
Okay.
But secondly, it sounds like you're absolutely right. Like there's these seasons that we go through in life where it's just like everything feels foreign. And everything you just described to me felt like when I had kids. And I'm going through all this stuff. I'm running a business. Tommy and I barely know each other. We got pregnant after a year and we was engaged after 6 months. And then it felt like I was going through it alone because like our experience of it is different. But what I hear you saying is all of this transition and all of this newness.
At the same time. It's all happening at the same time.
But you're, and this is, I have something to say to you too, but your safe place is him.
Right.
As it should be. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so leaning into like all this chaos with your safety person, I think it sounds like could be a release. And maybe you need, sorry to like, I'm not an actual therapist, but what I'm hearing is
I
like
need to hear
leaning
this.
into this might be what you need to just release and say, I'm safe here. All this chaos is happening, but I'm safe here.
This is okay.
This is why I did this.
I say it all the time. It's like there are so many things that we have going on outside
Yeah.
of that house. So many stressors.
Yeah.
When we come home, that should be our peace.
Yeah.
Right.
That should be like, okay, don't worry about it. Leave that outside the door. Now you can come in, you can let some of it go. and
Right,
some
you're
of
right.
it
Give me what
stay
you
away.
got. You know what I'm saying? Right,
But
yeah.
we can't take our stress from the outside world and everything that overwhelms us out on one another.
Right.
That's the
But the other thing I'll say, again, maybe overstepping,
No,
is
no.
having talked, to you guys now for two sessions,
She's not a therapist, y'all.
but hearing the space is really important.
It
to her.
is.
And I believe y'all moved, but knowing how important it is for her to feel like she has enough space and her own space. I know you were talking about the separate wing, and I think whatever conversations are happening, it sounds like the more that you can lean into like making sure she knows that like she can move this.
This is her space, yeah.
Right.
Well,
she needs that.
I understand what you're saying, and because I feel the same way when I go to Atlanta, and she makes me feel comfortable in Atlanta. Don't get me wrong; it's like I do have a lot of sellers, but California real estate and Atlanta real estate.
It's a smaller space. It's a smaller space.
So, like I said, when I bought my home it was brand new. And it was me. It was just me. And I'm like, this is enough. I ain't getting married again. I ain't never getting married again at that point.
Ever.
But then this happened. And so when it happened, God even told me before we got married, like, I want to move. I told you before I said, I want to move. I want to move across. I said, I want to move into our home that it feels like it's ours.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When you get something together, it feels like it's yours together.
Yeah.
And you can build, you can get your accent wall. Then we're fighting over, okay, well, this is my office, you get the closet. You know, we can
Let's have those fights.
negotiate. You know what I mean? So I have tried, you know, my best, and I could do a better job. Like, you want that whole bedroom? You want that to be a closet? Go ahead. You can take that. I'll take the clothes out, do all that type of stuff. But
that was not initially.
And it's not a criticism either.
But-
It's just listening. Sometimes you hear what somebody needs.
Right.
And just want to,
And you're like, oh.
But see, and I also think that it's important in any relationship for you to, I think some people just think that, oh, you're supposed to read the room, or you're supposed to just think or read somebody's mind.
no.
Like, I'll make them feel comfortable. You know, sometimes you just gotta say, babe, I need this.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you do this?
So that's what we. That's what we need. That's
I'm
what we
definitely
need.
guilty of not
As
just
male,
saying, hey,
that's what we need.
can I have this whole bedroom over here to like make it my workspace
Yes.
because I need it for
Absolutely.
whatever.
He's
And
not gonna say no.
I definitely struggle with asking for things because
Same.
I've never felt comfortable asking
past
for
trauma.
anything.
Same.
Past trauma.
Yes.
Past trauma. Everything I have, I am self-made. I am I'm completely independent. So it's like, it's usually like, for me, it's like, even if you have everything, I'm like, do you mind if I have this one lime over here, please? But I can split it in half, put it back if you want me to, like
This
whatever.
relationship, I think, is meant to teach you or help you really truly lean and ask.
Ask, lean, ask.
And it works both ways.
To be
Lean and ask.
I'd also just like to offer, this is my first marriage, but I am finding myself having to lean into the unknown. I am a girl that likes to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What's the next step? I like to plan. I like to know 5 steps ahead.
Right.
And dealing with cancer, you don't know. You have no idea. And cancer has literally run my life for 9 years. And the only thing that I know is when I have treatment, when I have to take a pill, things like that. And so living in the unknown is what I have learned to be comfortable in.
Right.
Because that's just where I'm at. But at the same time, you live in the unknown, but you trust in God.
Amen.
Always.
Amen.
Always.
Because God is the known. God knows.
God
and if
knows.
God knows, that's all that matters.
Not my will, God's will.
Period.
He's always
And
directing your footsteps.
again, God has been working in your tomorrow and his tomorrow long before y'all met. In your first marriage, God was like, yeah, I know this ain't the one. So I'm going to go ahead and get Mike ready.
Right.
But you learn from each relationship.
Right.
You learn from each
I
relationship.
know that
Yep.
this is not the one for her, so I'm gonna give you all of this bad. So when you get the good, like me, I've been through trauma in past relationships. When you get the good, you're like, oh, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like, and you appreciate the good even more. But the unknown, like Codie said, this is your safety in the unknown.
But Roslyn, isn't it also important not to take the baggage from your past relationship into your new?
Don't take it into, but you learn from it. But at the
learn
same
from
time, you have to realize as women, we move on from our trauma, but sometimes we don't always put it all the way down. Sometimes we got it in a small little coin purse in our bag. Because as women, we have to keep a little small knowledge of what happened so we don't fall victim again.
Yeah.
That's really, that's as a woman, that's what you have to do. You have to guard your heart. My mother taught me at a very early age, guard your heart.
Guard your heart.
Because only you care about it and only God is going to protect it.
Amen. Amen. Protect your heart. I tell my daughters that all the time.
You have to
Protect
guard
your
it.
heart.
Exactly.
You only have one heart.
And you shouldn't carry things over into another relationship, but you should always remember things. That way you don't, again, fall victim or make the same mistake again.
So I'm going to ask all you guys this because we agree that group therapy or marital therapy is important, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Individual therapy, when you have gone through your individual trauma, how important is that to you as well?
Listen.
We're on the same page.
Yeah,
We are.
everybody's on
He's got a master's.
He's got a master's. So we go
have a
to
master's in
marriage
counseling.
counseling, but I have said, and I will continue to say that I don't feel like marriage counseling will really serve you as much as you need it to if you're not doing individual counseling, because marriage is 2 halves. So if one half is jacked up and the other half is okay, you're not going to have a whole thing together. So no, individual counseling is very, very much so vital because I have trauma from my early years in life, childhood, adulthood, teenhood that I need to deal with. Ray has the same things. So when you bring those 2 unresolved things together, it's going to cause a calamity. So absolutely people should do individual counseling because we can go through life every day and say, I'm okay, I'm okay. But it takes one person to say one comment or one thing to happen in your life, and it triggers you, and then you're in a spiral. When all we have to do is really take self-accountability and say, you know what? Sometimes when he talks to me crazy, it makes me feel a certain type of way. I wonder why. And then maybe it's because your mother talked to you crazy when you was a child, so you can't receive somebody else talking.
But it's easier to just say, he talks crazy and I don't like it.
Right.
Come on.
That's the host of my show right there. Our show.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Codie.
so
Our
that's
show.
I know, right? We developed a whole show before this. So all of that said,
Yes.
because you know our producer's giving me the
Yeah.
it's time to go.
I really forgot.
Wait. It's almost done?
It's done.
Right.
Oh my God.
Like literally.
Oh my
Cynthia
God.
had like 5 more points she wanted to make.
No. Okay, before we wrap, I just
She's
want
gonna
to
send you a
say,
transcript.
no, this has been so insightful, so helpful. Like honestly, like I mean, first of all, with everything that you're going through, like I'm over here talking about
absolutely.
a room to be able to like work out of, and you're going through a whole.
Was going through, it's already over.
You have been
come
through.
on.
You
Come
guys
on.
have
Beat it.
survived.
Come
I'm waiting on
this.
the doctors to find out.
Praise
Yes,
God. Yes,
that's
I'm
it.
just waiting
I
on
love
prayer.
it.
All is going to be well.
Yes,
All is
ma'am.
going to be
Manifest
well.
it.
Already.
All right,
already well.
but just like listening to you guys be so transparent, you guys have been so inspiring to me today. Like honestly, like seriously, because like I said, I know we got to wrap up, but I just want to make sure that I apologize to you about everything that's been going on in my life, because honestly, if I didn't really realize all the different things that I was going through in this transition, from a new living space to a new city to a new job, all these things at the same time, menopause and all those things, I'm sure you didn't know those things either to take in consideration when, I'm, not as awesome as I could be with you. So I apologize to you if all of these different things that I'm going through, that I'm acknowledging, that I'm taking accountability for going through, has made it harder for us during this time than it had to be. Because honestly, that stuff is my stuff, but it's something that I am definitely dealing with, and it's something that I want you to know that I'm dealing with. And just keep that in your mind going forward, that I'm just not a bitch for no reason. I got a lot of stuff going on.
Wow.
And, I feel like I'm not the fun girl anymore, and I feel like, it's like, what happened to fun Cynthia Bailey? And it's like, well, let's see. She left her job, she moved, she uprooted
She got a lot
herself
of
from
shit
her house.
going on right now.
Yes.
And that's
real.
fine.
That's life.
That's real
And I don't,
life.
it's so hard to, when you feel like you have to, like, I don't want to compare myself to your situation, but I feel like I don't have a choice but to figure it out. Like, I'm the figure it out girl. Like, I can't just be like, oh, okay, I'm just in transition, I'm just gonna be a hot mess, and I'm just gonna lay back and, just see what happens. See if a job's gonna fall out of the sky, or see if, everything's just gonna come together. No, I'm not that girl. I hit the ground running. I came from very humble beginnings. Nobody gave me anything. I'm happy just to even be sipping a glass of wine, okay? We couldn't even afford wine,
Come
okay?
on, listen.
We couldn't afford wine in Alabama where I grew
Now
up.
look at me.
Thunderbird.
So to look at my life, I love my life.
Yes.
I have to continue to just fight, to just, for my survival. Like, I feel like, and I know that I have a whole husband, but we're only a year and a half into this. Like, I didn't know that I could just be like, okay, let me just fall apart. Let me just not have the answer. Let me just sit around for 2 months and try to figure it out. And you say, yeah, baby, just sit here and figure it out, and I got you no matter what. Like, I didn't know. I've never had that option in my life before.
Right.
I don't think that's a sorry. I think that's a thank you.
No. Well, first of all,
I hear
both.
I appreciate you saying that. I'll keep it quick. But I accept your apology, first of all. I don't think you need to apologize. But
I needed to.
I'm happy, and I'm sorry myself for not being more understanding of everything that you were going through. Of, like you said, the menopause. I know you've been overwhelmed, but I've always said, babe, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I got you. You don't have to do it by yourself. We're together. We're a unit. We're one. When we took these vows. This ring is 360. It's never ending. So we're together through sickness and health, and rich or poor, hopefully not poor, but you know what I'm saying? We got to we're going to be rich. We're going to continue to work hard, but we're going to go through it all. You know what I mean? And if I don't have you, God got us.
Amen.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
Come on.
So we can get through anything. Don't worry about what you left behind. Look at what's in front of you. Because what you left behind is meaningless compared to what we can do together. You know what I'm saying? You're a force by yourself. I know Neo said it. You're a force by yourself. I mean, you're a movement by yourself, but you're a force. Yeah, just say it. Yep. But we're a movement when we're together, man. So we can accomplish anything together. So let's just
Okay, y'all.
keep God first. And keep
Listen, dare I say relationship goals, but it's the transparency for me. It's the openness, the apology, the recognition, the commitment.
It's the acceptance of growth.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Can I get a copy of this, though?
Yeah, right.
I got you. I got you. All right, y'all. That has been the best After Love. Okay, the season finale of Black Love, the series finale of Black Love.
Yes.
Ooh, child. Good night.
Cheers to Black Love. Cheers to you guys, to Codie and Tommy. Yes.
That's how good the show was.